Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Before we get started on today, I want to do a really quick review from last week because there's so much to talk about what that happened within the last 3 days. Obviously, really quickly, last week we saw Georgia beat Texas. We've talked a lot about Texas, me and you personally, and if they were legit or not. Uh, and I was kind of reluctant to you've always said it was Arch Manning time. I think that's kind of it kind of might be Arch Manning time because Texas did not look good. Um, I was a big Quinn you were supporter, but the way I feel like he's not only holding Texas back, he's holding Steve Sarkisian back. The playbook looks a little different with Quinn Ewers in the game. The ball doesn't go down the field as much. I don't know, maybe feel a little bit different about that. But great win for UGA. After that, UGA moves to number one. How do you feel about Texas? How do you feel about Georgia?
Well, I mean, I feel like Texas kind of has the same problems we're used to seeing, uh, and their storyline is one that we're familiar with right now. They start off hot, have a big time win against a ranked opponent early, and then it just kind of tapers off. Um, and now their win against Oklahoma looks even worse. It looks worse by the second. What do you
It
say? About it looked
absolutely
worse
went
by the
against.
so
Yeah.
um, Texas, like I've been saying, it's Arch time, baby. Let's do it.
So is
And
there
on the Georgia sideline,
good.
go ahead. Go ahead. What's your question?
No, I was gonna say. So is there real concern for Texas here, and is there real confidence behind Georgia? No.
I wouldn't say concern for Texas. I don't have the schedule pulled up. I can just pull it up in just a second. But I mean, they hard in SEC, so you never know what they're gonna see or who they're gonna face. They might have to catch, get clipped by Arkansas. We've seen that already, right? So you never know what's in the realm of possibilities. But Georgia, I like how Georgia looks. They did, have the loss to they do have the loss to Alabama, but other than that, they've looked pretty decent. Um, I know the game against Kentucky, they were a little bit, up against the ropes against Kentucky, but I mean, Kentucky's proven to be a good football team. Been putting together some good tape. So I
Are
like
you?
Georgia. Uh, I'm not sure who wins the SEC championship. Yet. I'm not. Because I'm not sold that Bama's dead. So I don't know. It should be very interesting down the stretch in the SEC just to see who is going to be in Atlanta competing for that title.
Me personally, I think it's a two-man race between Georgia and Texas. I don't know if I see anybody even close to them from what I've seen from the SEC. And I know we like to talk about how great the SEC. I beg to differ a little bit. Um,
Real quick, what if Miami knocks off Texas today? Because it's a one score game, currently present in the
I,
third quarter.
I
And
honestly
then
thought
I
this.
know Diego Pavia. I know Pavia went to the tent too.
I before this game started, I thought this would be a good game. I think the line was. This is not a betting podcast, but I know what the line was, and I thought that was a little bit too high because Vandy's a good football team, and I think Texas still has some identity issues just with the way they played last week. So I didn't think, by me personally, I didn't think they were going to blow Vandy out the water at Vanderbilt. I didn't think that because Vandy's been playing pretty good consistently. So I'm not really surprised at this. I do expect Texas to win this game, but I never thought Texas would win by 3 or 4 touchdowns or nothing like that. I don't think Vandy will beat them, but I do think Texas pulls this one out. They're still trying to kind of find themselves after that Georgia game was hard for them. So I think they're still got some things, a couple kinks to work out as far as that goes.
Like who's
And
gonna
then,
be,
huh?
I said like who's going to be quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's
they got a little time. They have some time to figure that out before they see Georgia again. Um, Miami Hurricanes. Uh, is their time up? I think, me personally, I think their luck is going to run out soon here. They're allowing 38 points a game, 40, not points a game, but we've seen games where they've allowed 38, 41, 45. They just beat Louisville 52 to 45. Um, I don't think you could just consistently win football games like that. Although they are undefeated, and I have respect for any team that's undefeated in any Power Five conference, um, because it's still that at the end of the day. But
The language is
Miami.
outdated, bro. It's P4.
P4, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. Um, I think Miami's time is up because their defense is so bad. Uh, and Cam Ward is
Very,
really,
very.
yeah. Cam Ward's masking a lot of problems. I'm not. Do you feel any different about Miami than I do?
No, man. Miami's been skating all year long.
Yeah,
They've been skating by all year long. Um,
there's.
so they got Florida State tonight, so that should be another dub.
It should be a dub. I think it's. It'll be a good game. Sticking in the ACC, Clemson after their first loss to Georgia, they've looked amazing. That is Dabo back. Clemson looks like the old Clemson. They're winning convincingly. They're not. They're winning games that they should be winning, and they're winning how they should be winning. On top of that, is there? Are you buying? Are you putting some stock back into Clemson? I know for the last few years, we've kind of Clemson's fell off, Dabo's fell off. Are you putting some stock back into Clemson?
Um, Personally, I'm not surprised by how Clemson looks just because I know what the ACC has become. Any team that we thought was going to have any promise, basically, in the ACC this year has not lived up to those prognostications, we could say. So
Hmm.
Clemson being a perennial power now, especially in the conference and just in recent years in the sport, not surprised by how they look. When they're playing Boston College and Virginia,
Hmm.
and beating up on North Carolina. So we'll see. I get they're on the bye this week. They got Louisville, BT, both practice squads. Pittsburgh, who I don't know if you saw that
I did.
Pittsburgh Syracuse game.
Yep.
Man, that stat
Yep.
line was very nasty from your
Yeah.
boy,
And
Mr. McCord.
yeah, and Pittsburgh has been very good this year. They beat
Yeah,
who
but
was in
brother,
front of them.
I don't think they had 100 yards of total offense, and they won by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right. But just as far as being like, being a team like Pittsburgh, it's easy to slip up and lose a game or two. But I think they're doing a good job of beating whoever's in front of them. And they're looking to make the ACC competitive, finishing off the last 3 or 4 weeks of this season. So it should be interesting to see how they finish. Obviously, with Clemson, Miami, Pittsburgh, those being the top three teams
Bro,
in
Pitt
that
had
conference.
217 yards of total offense and scored
Hmm.
41 points and won by 28.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't the. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was surprised because I'm not. I know who that guy was. Behind the center in orange and blue. This is
That's
not a
your guy.
podcast to shade. That's not my guy actually. He's never been my guy. So let's clear that up. Moving on. We talked about it this as well. Indiana. Uh, I think regardless of their schedule not being super strong, I believe them. Like I'm confident in saying they're one of the 10 best teams in the nation. I'm not afraid to say that. And I know their schedule has been weak, but the way that they win, they're confident. They look good. They're putting numbers up. They're getting stops on defense. They're holding offenses down. So um, I think they're gonna. Obviously, they're in the Big Ten along with Oregon and Ohio State. Um, I Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think they're the third best team in the Big Ten. I'm gonna put Oregon, Ohio State,
I
Indiana,
don't think
and
that's
then
a
Penn
limit.
State. Penn
I don't think that's a
State.
limit.
I mean, some people might say that. I do think they're better than Penn State though.
I do too. I do
So
personally.
they have a great opportunity coming up. I really love their coach. Just the and they look like they could be something special. And just what the way that Ohio State has been playing, um, there's a chance there. I'm not going to say Indiana's going to beat them, but there's definitely an opportunity to make it a game.
Oh, they say that
Ohio State
window
is
is
obviously
wide
a
open.
powerhouse. That 100%. Because Ohio State just doesn't look super duper strong right now. I don't, but at the same time, I don't think Nebraska's horrible. Indiana did beat the shit out of them. Yes. Uh,
They beat the shit. And you said you don't think
100%.
they're horrible.
I don't think Nebraska's horrible, but Indiana did beat the shit out of
So
them because there's
that speaks to how good you think Indiana is.
exactly. And because Nebraska's first loss happened on like a fourth. I can't remember the team. I watched the game, but they lost on the last possession of the game. Then their second loss was to Indiana, undefeated Indiana, and now their third loss is to 6-1 Ohio State. Uh, that's a good ball club to me. So Indiana, I have a strong belief in Indiana. But also, we don't usually see this, but prior to today, Army and Navy were both undefeated. Thank you. Shout out to our servicemen, right? Playing good football out here, Army and the Navy. They did end up losing to Notre Dame, but I don't know, man. Army and Navy, you like how often do we see that? And I never even considered them, in the 12-team playoff. Even made the consideration, but there's a chance for one of them to make it, depending on how they finish the season out, being one of those non P4 schools. Um, but I think that because those are two very unique offenses, two of the most unique offenses we have in college football. Uh, and then Notre Dame was maybe a little taste of what might happen in the playoffs, but I still think those are two very good teams. I don't know. What do you think about those two teams?
I think you're right, man. I do believe that both ball clubs are quality, right? They're both right there knocking on the door for the American Athletic Association. Well, I guess it's the American Athletic Conference, the AAC, right? That's what they are. But
Hmm.
anyway, they're right there in the hunt for that title. This is both their first year in the conference. They've been historically independent schools, but you know,
Right.
with the movements and all the shifts in the sport and the conferences and the realignment and everything like that, they decided to jump in the American Conference and they've made, their presence felt. And honestly, I think I might like Army. I think I might like Army to make a run to the playoff and win to win the American, and and be the highest ranked Group of Five school. So if they remain undefeated all the way through, all ranked, and then they're in. I like it because it's unique. They got, like you said, very unique offenses and skill sets that teams just aren't able to prepare for or don't get the reps to prepare for like they do, the standard spread offense that you see in college now. So, you see that, 11 times a year, 12 times a year, but then you get in the
All right.
playoff and now you got to stop Army that they running like 34 trap at you. 34 trap.
Double tight sets, double wing tee, da da da.
H
Trevor
back.
Lawrence.
We got a H, we got an
I
H
mean,
back and an A back. Yeah.
they're out there running with no receiver sometimes, man. So that's always that's
Double tight, extra tackle, H back, fullback.
that they're really for the old heads, man. If you really an old head and you just want to take if you want to go back 50 years, just watch some Army football.
Right.
But
Honestly, bro, I
so
think I think more high school are running like that type of offense, bro. Like, 'cause it's
mhm.
more likely that you got a guy that could run that type of offense than you do a five wide set. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the skill guys to go out there and go empty.
Mhm.
You don't have the quarterback to do that, but your quarterback can probably,
Yeah.
carry that
I
ball 15 times, 20 times a game, and just make sure the boys is running trap. Bro, I seen it's an offense. It's a school out here. They run that super tight double wing T, bro. They throw the pitch. The quarterback be the lead blocker, bro. It'd be crazy. He the first one
that's
to pop
ins-
through the hole. I'd be like, nah, this
nah,
is
that's so dangerous. But I do think those unique formations like that are like a 100% a personnel thing. If you have three great receivers, you probably shouldn't be running that formation. Or if you have three great running backs, you absolutely should be running that formation. Um, I think it's definitely a personnel thing. But I think it's going to be interesting seeing how they finish. And now that we had one of the biggest upsets in college football, there's definitely an opportunity because Kennesaw State with 0 wins beat Liberty that has not lost since 2022. I know they were one of the
sniper.
big favorites to make. Bro, they were one of the big favorites to make the college football playoff, being one of those non P4
Group
schools,
of five.
and you turn around and lose to
Group
Kennesaw
of five.
State, blows the doors wide open for a lot of teams to come in and take that spot from Liberty. It was pretty. I think it was pretty much Liberty's spot to lose, and that loss,
Yeah.
you kind of lose a grip on it because you just cannot lose to Kennesaw State if you're a Liberty football team.
No, bro, they won't win another ball game this whole year. They'll be partying like they won the Super Bowl for the rest of the season.
That is absolutely their national championship, but I don't
They
know
went the
Liberty
season
that
one and
that
11, knocked out Liberty from the playoffs.
and that's the thing. Like once when you're one of those non P4 schools, they look into every little thing. Point differential, who you lost to, the strength of schedule. They're looking at everything. And Liberty, I don't think any other team will have a worse loss than Liberty this season. They were 28-point favorites going into that game, and you turn around and lose that game. It's not good for Liberty at all. So I cannot. I don't know how they'll finish this. If there's still a chance there, obviously, but that loss just looks so bad for them. Um, then I wanted to talk
Worst
Alabama.
loss of the college football season. Well, that's the
Whoa,
worst loss.
whoa,
Then that's the worst loss than Notre Dame. No, that's worse than Notre Dame, Northern Iowa, bro.
whoa.
I mean, Northern
You
Illinois.
you think so?
Northern Illinois ended up cracking the top 25.
That's true. Okay, you got a point. No, you have a point right there. That's the worst one.
0-6, cuz 0-6,
Yeah, there was.
undefeated, completely defeated.
You're definitely, yeah. There's definitely, it makes
That's
sense.
the worst loss. That could be
I'm
one of the
not.
worst
Yeah,
losses in like the last 20, 30 years of the sport, bro.
that is that giving you Appalachian State, Michigan vibes?
I mean, but Appalachian State was a good program at 1AA
One
then. You know what
hundred
I'm saying?
percent.
Like
But
these
also
boys,
Michigan was a well-known powerhouse at that point.
that is true. Like, but dog, completely defeated,
Yeah,
beats
yeah. That no.
undefeated.
That's super different when you put it that way. That's 100% different. So staying on that, Alabama took their second loss last week. And I know this is such an unusual feeling for Bama fans, and they almost don't know what to do with themselves. We've seen a lot of things said, you know, two losses before November. That's very unfamiliar for Crimson Tide fans. But I come to think it's a little bit of an overreaction. Um, we understand that y'all have won whatever the number is, 7 championships in 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And that's just not reality though. That's not a common thing. Coaches like that aren't just walking around. Dabble's not doing that. Kirby's not. Kirby has opportunity, but I would be surprised if it was similar to Nick Saban's tenure. It's
Let's
just
think
not
about
like
let's think about some perennial, traditional powerhouse programs that have great fan bases that haven't won a national championship since basically we can remember, right? Penn
Penn
State,
State, Florida,
uh, Florida, exactly. I mean, we last
USC,
time we saw Florida win the championship, we was in diapers, basically.
Florida, USC,
Texas,
Texas,
they haven't won. It's been about 20 years for all those schools we just named, except for
literally,
Florida.
literally.
But they're coming up on. They're about
Yeah,
15.
Florida's been a good 15. I was just gonna say that Florida's been 15 plus. Georgia was a good 20
Miami,
before Kirby. Yep, Miami. Yep. Um,
Tennessee.
bro. So
Like these are
it's
great fan bases, like great programs.
it's just obviously it's a little difficult when you're used to one thing and it doesn't turn out that way anymore. Are these Alabama fans overreacting, or is there real concern for the head coach and
I mean,
job?
yeah, they overreacted, bro. You gotta look like this is Nick's gone. You know, there's got to be a change in regime. There's going to be a new culture. There's going to be new principles and a whole new everything. So there's going to be some type of rough patch. And I mean, losing 2, 3 games ain't really a rough patch. You know what I'm saying? What's a rough patch is what my school going through, brother. So we got a new coach
And I
last
think
year. He went 1-11. We're looking at 2-22 in his 2 years. That's what we're staring down the
yeah,
barrel of. That's a rough
and
patch.
I think the Alabama, obviously the loss to Vandy was a huge shocker. You lose to Tennessee, yes, you're a little bit shocked. Tennessee isn't the worst team though. They're still a decent ball club. Um, but obviously they're just used to winning that game, right? Consistently. There's maybe every 5 years, every 4 years they get an upset to Tennessee, but 4 or 5 years in a row at a time, they're used to winning that game against that orange and white team. Um, I think it's just obviously you're going to be hard. You're going to be. It's an adjustment. Nick Saban set a ridiculous standard, a standard that a standard that only Bill Belichick has set, pretty much.
It won't be
Um,
duplicated ever, replicated, none of that. Like
it
you
can't.
can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like there's certain figures in sports that won't be duplicated. Nick Saban's one of them. LeBron James, right? Tom Brady. These are just guys that won't you won't see them again. There's no more types. They're one of one. That goes for coaches and players, but Alabama fans just aren't used to this. And Alabama, they're still in decent shape. Obviously, they need a couple favors for a couple other teams for to work in their favor. I don't think they're in a horrible position. They're up 34-0 on a 21 ranked Missouri right now. Um,
I mean, if they don't lose another game, even if they don't go to the SEC championship, they can still be 10, 11, or 12.
and that's a very, very good season for a first year coach with the and
I
he
mean, like,
does it with
what else could you really want, bro? Like, you make it to the playoff in your first year, replacing Nick Saban. Like,
and I think another thing we don't talk about enough is like we look at the history. The last three or four quarterbacks at Alabama have all been spectacular, from Tua, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts. All three of those guys have been amazing. And then obviously running backs and wide receivers from Devontae Smith, Jerry Judy, Henry Ruggs, all of those guys, Jalen Waddle. Like, we don't know if they also have those players right now at the same time. So Alabama was well coached, of course, but man, did they have special talents back there as well. Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson, you know what I mean? The history, Julio
I'm
Jones,
sorry, I have
Marvin.
to interrupt. This Texas Tech game is on right now, bro, and their quarterback is trying to die. He's trying to die. I didn't see him. I didn't see him get blown up 3 times in the last 2 minutes of the game, bro. It's bad. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's bad,
I mean, that's that kind of football they play out there, man. Um,
brother. It is. I'm like, I don't even understand what he's doing. Like,
so We did talk about this earlier too. Oregon, they look like the best team in college football to me. I don't know if you agree with that. I understand Georgia had a great win. I'm still there's a big question mark for me with their quarterback Carson Beck. Dylan Gabriel looks phenomenal. Oregon, I'm convinced they are the best team in college football right now. I know we're used to kind of like Oregon being not taken too seriously, even when they're ranked very highly, just off the history. But this season seems to be a little different. They look legit. They have a great win with Ohio State, right? Georgia obviously has a loss. Texas has a loss. Ohio State has a loss to Oregon. I don't think feel too strongly about Penn State. I don't feel, worried saying, "Oh, Oregon's the best team in football right now," because that's just what I've seen. Though I'm just going off what I've seen, and so far they've looked like the best team in football to me. Uh, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, considering I was the one that texted you and said, I guess Oregon's the number one team in the country. I
Right.
think we're aligned here. I think we're aligned. You did. You called it. You called it a couple weeks back. So I'll give you your credit where it's due. But
And I think it's a thing too, right? Where yes, Oregon puts up a lot of points, but they beat Purdue last week 35-0. So they're doing it on both sides of the ball. They played a number 20 Illinois, who's been good this season, 38-9, right? So they're not only are they putting up points, but they're able to play defense. I think they look pretty good on both sides of the ball this year. I don't think I'm confident enough to say, oh, they'll win the national championship. Um, but I do think through 8 weeks, whatever this eight, I think this is week 8 or week 9. I do think that they are the best team right now in college football. They're playing the best. I think because they're the only team that hasn't had a week where it's like a huge question mark. You know what I mean? I do understand that they've only beat Boise State by 3, but Boise State is also a damn good ball club.
he got the best
So I don't.
player.
Right. I'm not gonna really put a question mark right there. So that covers it for last week of college football. This week, I don't think we have too many upsets. Um, Ohio State struggle. We talk about Ohio State struggling a little bit against Nebraska. They have some things to clean up. They got about 3 or 4 more weeks. Big Penn State game coming up next week. Um, Notre Dame is obviously trying to beat up on people just to prove, after Northern Illinois that they're kind of giving the business to everybody since that happened. Uh, I think Indiana looks good. Um, Ole Miss. I had a long conversation about Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is super duper fraudulent because they played 2 good teams this year. They've lost both of those games. They lost to LSU, and then they also took a loss to Kentucky. Uh, and if you lose the only 2 good games you've had this year, I find it difficult to call you a good team. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I don't have any stock in Ole Miss. I don't even think they're good because I mean obviously they beat up on the teams that they were supposed to beat up on, but you lost to LSU, you lost to Kentucky, and then you still have a couple big games coming up. I think they just probably for me they just probably missed the playoffs because they should be 7-1, 6-1, something like that. But that Kentucky loss is going to bite them in the end. So they do. I'm not going to count them all the way out because like there's still a couple chances here. They play Arkansas next week, Georgia the week after that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they beat Arkansas next week. Uh, and I definitely don't think they beat Georgia. So I think they finished the season with 4 losses. I think that was another issue I had with the SEC that a lot of these teams look good and play until they play a lot of these other teams, and then you see the separation, right? Alabama against Missouri today, 35-0, and some people that feel strongly about the SEC say, "Oh, we have all these ranked teams." No, you have these ranked teams because they haven't played these other ranked teams. LSU, Ole Miss versus LSU, Missouri versus Alabama, or teams like that. And then obviously tonight we have Texas A&M versus LSU. I personally think LSU is the third best team in the SEC, but Texas A&M has played great thus far, but I do feel a little bit more strongly about LSU than I do about Texas A&M.
So you think LSU is a better ball club than Alabama right now?
Yes, I'm convinced. I just
Interesting.
think
I don't
LSU
know if
just
I can.
has the
I don't know.
guys, man. Alabama's for me, Alabama's highs are so high, but their lows are so low. Like Alabama could be one of the worst teams in the SEC at certain points, but then they can also be the best team in the SEC at certain points. Um, when they played, I think that was USF. They was going into the fourth quarter, 13-14 with USF. That's a problem for me. You allow Vanderbilt 40 points. That's a problem to me. Tennessee, you should not be losing to Tennessee. It's just like, but obviously, then you turn around, you beat Georgia, you beat Missouri 35-0, and it's just they're way too hot and they're way too cold for me. I can't call it. LSU, I think there's a little middle ground there, like to balance it out. Their lows are not as low. Maybe their highs aren't as high either because they lose the first game of the season to USC. But they turn around, they beat Ole Miss, and then they have a couple other games coming up. They have a big game against Texas A&M tonight. But I don't know. I do think LSU is the third best team. But I guess we will see coming up because I do think if I'm not mistaken, they play Alabama later this season. Pretty much battling for that third spot in the SEC potential playoff spot. Super. So yeah, next week or not next week, but in 2 weeks they play each other.
I got a question for you. How many SEC squads you think get in the tournament, and how many Big Ten squads you think get in the tournament?
I think only two. I think two SEC, three Big Ten, um, two ACC. So what am I at? Seven.
Two ACC.
Two
So you
ACC.
think Clemson and Miami both get in?
I think either Clemson and Miami, or Miami and Pittsburgh. Any combination of those two. If they finish the season with one loss, hard to say. So Big 12. Who's in the Big 12? Who's that? Who's that?
Baylor,
Kansas State, Baylor, Iowa
Kansas
State,
State, Colorado.
Baylor, Colorado. I think one Big 12 team. That probably be at Iowa State, and then maybe two out of conference. I don't. I have a hard time believing more than two
BYU
SEC.
is in the Big 12 too.
BYU as well. So Big 12, and then Utah. So wait, Utah. Whoa, Utah. My goodness,
Pac-12.
that's Pac-12. Utah's in the Big 12 now.
No, they're not.
Um, so
Oh, yeah, they
BYU.
are.
So BYU.
Big 12.
BYU, Iowa State. There's a possibility. I don't know if both make it. One, there's a chance for both to make it. I think I have a hard time believing more than two SEC teams make it because Georgia and Texas probably play each other again. LSU plays Alabama. Alabama has two losses, or LSU has two losses. And then I think, does Georgia play LSU or no?
Mm, oh,
I think it's just too many teams that are going to beat other teams. So coming up,
so
right?
Georgia's got Ole Miss, Tennessee. Those are the only two ranked teams they got left on their schedule.
Okay, so Georgia plays Ole Miss. I think they win that. Ole Miss finishes with three losses, right? Missouri on their second bad loss. Tennessee plays Georgia. I think Georgia beats them. Tennessee finishes with two losses. LSU, Texas A&M. LSU plays Texas A&M tonight. One of them gets another loss. Um, LSU plays Vanderbilt as well. My only thing with the SEC is it's going to be hard for a lot of teams to finish with one loss. A lot of teams are going to have two losses at the end of the season. Where for the Big Ten, Ohio State can beat Indiana. Indiana probably finished the season with one loss. Ohio State beats Penn State. Penn State finished the season with one loss. Ohio State in the Big Ten championship beats Oregon. Oregon finishes the season with one loss. Four Big Ten teams with one loss compared to 4 or 5 SEC teams with two losses, and then even at the end of the SEC schedule, Georgia plays Texas again. One of them finishes with two losses. So it's it's not going to be a lot of teams in SEC that finish with one loss or less. For the Big Ten, I think it's a little bit different, just the way the schedules have worked out. So I think only just for that reason alone, I think only two SEC teams make it. I think two ACC, three Big Ten, that's seven. Um, and then very possible that two Big 12 teams make it. Um, Nobody from the Pac 12, that's nine. How many teams out of the P4 make it?
Group of five.
Hmm?
So the highest ranked group of five automatically gets in.
Wow. So, but how many teams out of the P4 make it?
There's no number limits on that. The only thing that is required is that the highest ranked group of five champion is a part of the field of 12. But it can be more group
So
of
there's
five
no
schools.
so there's no automatic outside the P4,
Your four, so you got your four conference champions. Those are your
right?
P4s that are automatic bids. And then your highest ranked group of five champion, and everything else is ranked pole position.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably stick with that. Obviously, outside of that, four, one ACC, two two Big Ten, one SEC. That's only four, and then one more ACC. But the SEC could definitely. It's very possible they get two teams in, but I mean, there's two. It just depends on how it shakes out. Everybody plays every day.
It's
Everybody
12
coming down to
spots.
the end of the
So
season.
check this out. It's 12 spots, right? So that means, let's just say your P4s all get the two conference championship teams in. So that's 8 spots, right?
Hmm.
Taken by those four conferences. Then you got your highest ranked group of five. That's 9. And what you gonna have maybe maybe one more group of five. So that'll give you 10. So you said Big Ten was gonna get 3 teams, and then
Hmm.
that's 11. The SEC gets 3 teams. That's 12. Or maybe Big Ten gets 4 teams. I feel like that's a stretch.
Me. Yeah, me. One conference having a third of the playoffs is kind of crazy to me, honestly. I think those.
Like best case scenario, whoever plays in the conference championship games, as long as they don't have more than 2 losses, then everybody else just kind of fill in.
Yeah. So I don't. That's good. Next week. After this week, we should see some stuff, and then after next week, we should even get a little bit more defined. NFL. This we can run through this really quick. The Saints. Are they in, should they invest in rebuild mode? Is it time to just start rebuilding with the New Orleans Saints after that horrible loss
Yeah,
to
the
Denver?
Saints in the bad way. I mean, they
So
started the season, thought they were going to go, and now they in the toilet ball.
so are you saying go full rebuild?
They might as well, bro. Derek Carr's not the answer. The only pieces that they have, that offensive line is very, very successful and a very good cohesive unit. dealing with some injuries right now. But Derek Carr's not the answer. The only thing you know for sure is that AK gonna be there and that Olave. Everything else up in the air on the offensive
I
side of
mean,
the ball.
Olave,
Defensive
yeah,
side of
Olave's fresh off.
a lot of boys getting up there in age. Cam Jordan's getting up there in age. Demario Douglas, they're all getting up there. Demario Davis, they're all getting up there in age. So it's time to start making some decisions down there in New Orleans.
Diego Pavia just ended that game quickly. Texas up 35-17. That was quick. I do agree. I think Saints should go full rebuild because I don't know if Derek Carr's the future. They have a couple young pieces they could work with. Rashid Shaheed is out for the season now. Cam Jordan is coming up on his last couple years. They have a couple pieces. Tyrann Matthews getting up there as well. They have a couple young pieces to work with. We saw the Jets Steelers, right? Two questions, one for each team. Do you believe that the Jets get it figured out at some point? When do you think Mike Tomlin made the right decision in starting Russ over Justin Fields despite his 4-2 start?
Um, I'm gonna answer your second question first. I think they did need a bit of a wake up call or a different reference point to see what the offensive explosion could look like, what their weapons could look like, what their playbook looked like. I don't know if this is a long not I mean, I know it's not a long term answer, but I don't know long term as in the rest of this year. I don't know if Russ still gives them the best chance to win and be successful with the formula they're
Mm,
putting together. I think honestly, I would rather have Russ under center than Justin Fields when we play y'all. So um
really?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the ball, man, I don't think it's no saving the Jets this year.
Mm.
I don't think it's no saving. I think they're done. I think they're cooked.
I don't think you're wrong for that. 'Cause a 2-5 start is super rough. You get Devontae, you do nothing with that. You still have great pieces: Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner. You finally get Hassan Reddick back after this week. Still have a super good defense. It's. I think it might be time for Aaron Rodgers to ring that bell. Um, I just it did it's just super scary for the Jets because the quarterback play in the NFL is so bad. Like whoever, it's like the bottom 15 of quarterbacks are so bad. You know what I mean? And Aaron Rodgers is a million times better than those bottom 15. So it doesn't, there's really no reason to retire when those are who's up and coming. That's a huge problem. As far as the Steelers go, I think Mike wasn't wrong. It was a tough decision to make. You go for anybody goes 4-2 and then say, "Oh, we're snatching you out. We're gonna put somebody else behind it." Like I've won games, bro. I've got us first place, top of first place in the
Yeah.
division. You're gonna look at them crazy as shit. But Russ just gives the offense a different look. We push the ball down the field. George Pickens is valuable with Russell Wilson behind the center. Najee has been, running the ball better because there's just that threat of the ball being moved down the field vertically. And Russ is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. Still, I think that's always been his thing. Uh, Justin wins a different way, and he definitely brings a different threat. Such a tough decision, but I do think best chance to win. Maybe it is Russell Wilson. Um, who else do we have here? Eagles Giants. What a revenge game for Saquon Barkley. 175 yards rushing.
He cooked them
That's
boys.
how you.
He
Yes,
get no
that's
business out
yeah. That's just like bringing your next girlfriend in and your old girlfriend see how much your new girlfriend treats you better, and like how you just elevated in life. It just looks. It was. I was super happy for Saquon because y'all spent $40 million a year on Daniel Jones. Y'all wouldn't give him 12 million out of 10, 10, 12, 14. Y'all wouldn't go from 10 to 14. and then he turns around and gives y'all 175 rushing yards. The Giants are in huge trouble. I think the Eagles are are being saved a lot by Saquon and AJ Brown. They've done a lot of the heavy lifting for the offensive side of the ball. Um, Lions give Minnesota their first loss of the season. Not super duper surprised. The Lions were 5-1 going into that game. The Lions have been good for the last 2 or 3 years. They've looked like a very good football team, and it's not. I'm not going to sit here and say the Vikings absolutely should have won that game because that's a crazy thing to say. But um, I think the Lions played a great football game. Dan Campbell, just amazing. Wow. Lions have a great chance to win that division. What do you think?
I think that hmm, I thought the Vikings had a very good opportunity to put their a stranglehold on the division. Right, not only do you win a division game against the team that's in second place, but you also remain undefeated.
Yep.
Neither of those things happened, and I kind of think this is going to be one of those pivoting turning points in the season for the Vikings, where they go from hottest team in the league to just kind of like a mid-pack squad trying to tread water, trying to fight for a wild card. I think
Yeah.
Detroit is going to run away with this division. I think it's well, Detroit and Green Bay are going to be the two at the end, fighting for the division come week 17, week 14. Um,
That's good.
yeah,
I think that's the funny thing about the NFL. I think it's the season's kind of played in thirds. You got your first 6 weeks, you got your next six, and your last six. You know, teams from the first six are not going to be the same team from the next six. I think, and that's the case with the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, they start out 5-0, but I don't think the next 6 weeks they're probably going to go 5-0. That's just a great start by them. It varies division by division. On the opposite side, the Rams started the season 2-4. They got Puka back. They got Cooper Cup back. They look like they can definitely 100% make a run to win that division, being that the 49ers are super duper hurt. The Seahawks can't stop anybody, and the Cardinals are just the Arizona Cardinals. They turn around and beat the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night, give them their second loss. Um, they look. I'm glad to see all three of those guys back because that's one of the most fun offenses to watch when all three of those guys are playing football. Like like if you love scoring, if you just love offensive mindsets, that Rams offense with Puka, Cooper, and Kyron Williams, it really doesn't get better than that, as far as entertaining purposes go, and as far as fantasy football purposes go. Those two guys are those three guys are very good for fantasy football. We also had Deshaun Watson tear the
we didn't talk
Achilles
about
out
Matthew
for the
Stafford though. I think he's dead man walking. But anyway, we can go on to an actual dead man walking.
long as he got Puka and Cooper Cup, he's gonna be holding on. And I think it's the same scenario with Aaron Rodgers. The other quarterbacks are so bad that he will continue to have a place in this league as a starting quarterback. Would you rather have Matthew Stafford or Ed O'Connell? Or Gardner Minshew, or Anthony Richardson, or I don't know who else could I go to. Whoever's backing up Tua
Hey,
Tagovailoa.
hey, 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 hey,
Um,
hey, hey. Hey, that's enough now. Enough on the young gun.
I'm not hating on these guys, but like Matthew Stafford or Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yuck. Yuck.
there's that Matthew Stafford or Will Levis. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the
Ooh.
guys. Those are the guys that are. These are also
I
starting
know Will Levis
quarterbacks.
is hurt, bro, but I miss when he plays because he's constant entertainment. Like meme god.
It's bad though, bro. It's very bad.
Meme god.
Yeah. So even if he is a dead man walking, him walking dead is better than a good 40% of the league, 50% of the league. But Deshaun Watson out for the season. I mean, I'm never happy for no injuries. Everybody should get a chance to be who they are. Uh, do think this might have been the best situation for both parties, though. Not him being injured necessarily, but I think they should have benched him at some point. I didn't mean that coming by injury, but obviously he cannot play with him being injured. What do you do with Deshaun Watson at this point if you're the Browns front office?
Well, it's not much you can really do. Um,
Hmm.
he's plummeted his trade value with his play on the field, and now this injury.
Absolutely.
It's also just another backbreaker in that week one to trade Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. So um, I don't know who would take a flyer on this guy right now. I don't know who would. I don't know, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot of I don't know when it comes to Deshaun. I don't know where he lands when he comes back. I don't know if he's still Cleveland's quarterback when he comes back. How long is he going to be out? Will he ever get a job again? Will he ever play good again? Will we see him throw another touchdown? Will we see him throw another pass? Like, there's so many questions with Deshaun Watson, bro. I have no answers.
100% a lose-lose situation for all parties involved. Whether you were looking into Deshaun or if you're Cleveland trying to get rid of Deshaun. Um, but I do think maybe this is the beginning of a fresh start for Cleveland. You get rid of Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb comes back. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you may have to just start over, bro. Honestly, sometimes you just have to start over. You made a bad decision as a front office, and you just got to start from the beginning. And that means just Jameis Winston being your quarterback. That's just what it is. You traded Amari Cooper. That's what you decided to do. Anthony Richard made his return this week. Um, the Colts don't look good with Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco is obviously gives the Colts the best chance to win, but he's the fifth pick 2 or 3 years ago.
Just
I
two.
guess at that, uh,
Same drive as Bryce.
yeah. So I mean, I guess when you make a pick that high, you just kind of live and die with it, right? Um, I don't agree with that though. If Joe Flacco is throwing you 2 touchdowns a game and constantly giving you the best chance to win, you have talented receivers. You know, you just have to take that L on the chin, man. You made a bad pick in Anthony Richardson. Um, if you plan on competing this year, you leave Joe Flacco in there. I understand he's a bridge quarterback at this point, but like give your team deserves the best chance to win. And I know it may not be who you're spending all your money on and your future on, and you have to learn. Anthony Richardson has to learn some way, but come on, bro. Uh, GM's got to swallow their pride a little bit, man. If Joe Flacco's the guy right now. He's just the guy, man. And I know you want to stand on your decision that you made, but come on, bro.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of pride, a lot of ego in this game, in this world, you know. And guys hate to see themselves be wrong. Well, I mean, they don't hate to see themselves be wrong. They, because it costs them their job when they're wrong sometimes. So
And I do believe he's about the Colts head coach is about to somebody's gonna get their job cost. They missed the playoffs because I mean, what I think Flacco's like 3-1 or 2-1, whatever couple games he missed. He's throwing 2 touchdowns a game. Anthony Richardson is struggling to throw one a game. Um, that's a problem there. For 49ers, uh, Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Debo Samuel, pneumonia. They've kind of gotten bitten by the injury bug.
make quarterback great again.
What do you mean by that?
Make quarterback great again. You know what I mean by that.
Okay, we're gonna leave that right there. Um, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow. All right, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Mike Evans pulls the hamstring early in the game. Chris Godwin dislocates the ankle, whatever you want to call it, broken ankle, out for the season. Is their season kind of over um, with those two injuries?
I think that Chris Godwin injury is so critical, man. Just because of what he brings, he's that energy, that edge, the passion, plus the playmaking ability, the leadership, all of those things wrapped into one. And to lose a guy like that, your number one option at this point now, not just in the receiving core, but on your offense. See him go down. It hurt my heart to see that, honestly. Because the Mike Evans injury,
Really,
the hamstring, 3 4 weeks, but and
I
got one
want
we usually would have been able to hold it down, but now I don't know what they're gonna do without either one.
to talk about the way that he got lost. A minute left, down a minute 40 left, down 10 points, uh, and you lose him that way. Is that a boneheaded decision by the coach? Should his players have been pulled? I mean, a minute 40 down 10. You got 80 yards to go to even make it a one possession game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think the most critical part about everything that you just said, just setting up the scene of that drive, was the amount of yardage they had to get to the end zone.
Yeah.
80 yards in a minute and 30, whatever, and then get another onside kick. I think that's tough. But when your starting quarterback's still out there, all your other guys are gonna still be out there. So I mean, there's
I
only so
think
many guys you got. You only dress, you're dressing 50 guys,
it's
49 guys, 48 guys.
at that point, it's tired, their bodies are and coach another day, um, back in. I don't know if you're trying to get your yards, whatever contract year you're in, it's not worth it, bro. Like, what he had a 14-yard catch he got hurt on. How bad did
Yeah.
you need those 14 yards, man? Seriously. I definitely think he should have sat those guys down. Uh, okay, two more things in the
But you gotta
NFL.
remember, it's like I said, it's not college though, so you don't have 105 guys dressed. Like you can't just be pulling
Also, but
everybody.
like, would you rather your third or fourth string get hurt or your second quarterback? Or I don't think anybody should be getting hurt over anybody else, but like, you definitely should, I guess,
You
lessen the
said you
risk
don't
of
want
him.
anybody to get hurt, anybody else, and then say you'd rather have this guy.
Yeah, not rather get hurt, but lessen, or I should say, increase your chances of this person staying healthy over the next person. Like, lessen the risk of your best players getting hurt. I should phrase it that way. Um, I think, but yeah, I think they're kind of cooked for the rest of the season. It's hard for me to see. They got Sterling Shepard, older Sterling Shepard, a rookie or second year, and McMillan. Um, it's just hard for me to see them getting better going forward. Um, Bryce Young gets to start this week. Without Adam Thielen, without Deontay Johnson, kind of sounds like they're just setting him up once again. Without the two best receivers on the roster. And either way it goes, it's not. It's not gonna. They're not doing him no favors, right? By putting him in this position. And I
They haven't
think
done him any favors since they drafted him, brother. So
yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to, support any of the decisions they're making over there. I don't agree with it. Whatever. Um, I'm not gonna put too much value into the results of this next game coming up without Adam Thielen, without Deontay Johnson. It's hard for me to
they're
like
gonna lose by
evaluate.
40, bro.
Right. There's no evaluation to be made on a game like that without those two guys. Uh, Lamar Jackson, best player in the NFL for me. I'm taking him over Patrick Mahomes right now. I understand the Chiefs are 6-0, but Patrick Mahomes has not played well. I think Lamar, by far, is the best player in the league right now. And I know Patrick Mahomes is missing Rashi Rice, Pacheco. I don't think Juju played last game, but Lamar's, He's not throwing to Tyreek Hill either. He's, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers. These are good receivers, but he's not throwing to all pro receivers. Mark Andrews has struggled a little bit coming into the season. Derrick Henry looks freaking amazing. Uh, I think the Ravens, in my opinion, I think they're the best team right now, despite them being 4-2, 5-2, Chiefs being 6-0. A lot of that has been heavy lifting by the Chiefs defense. Ravens do look like the most dangerous team because, when Henry has a game earlier this season, he rushes for 199 yards. Lamar has a game where he throws for 5 touchdowns. You have the best runner in the league, and then, in my opinion, Lamar is the best passer right now in the league. In my opinion, they do look like the most dangerous team to me. And I know you're a Ravens fan. What do you think? How confident are you in your team?
I like the way the offense looks for sure. Special teams definitely needs to tighten up. Um, Defense been leaking all year long, basically.
Absolutely.
Also getting real thin in the secondary. But I am confident in the grade eight because El Freaky is the most God given talent. He's the most talented person God has ever put on this earth when it comes to football. That's just what it is. Like you
And
could,
for the
it
people
doesn't matter what position.
and for the people that who don't know who
But
that is, that's Lamar Jackson. He's he's he. I think he is the. I know. And Patrick Mahomes has been great in his career, but if we're
but
simply talking
like
about
it is like I think Patrick Mahomes is a better like overall quarterback. Like when it comes to like anticipation. Look, wait, bro, wait. Anticipation and uh, big moment and the things that like aren't really like physicals when it comes to a quarterback, right? But Lamar Jackson is the most physically talented person to ever touch the football, bro. Ever. It's
that's
unbelievable.
my thing is Pat Mahomes doesn't look good even a little bit. Like, yes, we see flashes of
Nah,
him still. We see flashes of him extending plays, making a good pass here and there. But we have not seen him through 4 quarters just look like Patrick Mahomes. Um, and yes, he has 3 Super Bowls, going for a three-peat. His team is 6-0. Patrick Mahomes thus far through his career has been better than Lamar Jackson. Absolutely. If we're going to take everything in totality, yes, Patrick Mahomes has been better than Lamar. Yeah, he's better than Lamar. But if we're talking about simply the 2024-2025 season, Lamar has outplayed him by a lot, and he's looked a lot better. And I just, that's the only thing I want to go off. I'm taking Lamar right now, just this year. If I want to take somebody over the last 5 years, absolutely, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. But through 6 or 7 games in this NFL season, I'm taking Lamar Jackson pretty easily too, because he's head and shoulders above the next person. And the next person this season is not even Patrick Mahomes, to be honest with you. So, because when you can throw for 5 touchdowns or you can run for 150 yards, there's what can you say? There's no people say that, oh, Lamar can't. I tend to believe there's not many weaknesses in his game, because he has the accuracy, he has the arm strength, he can run the ball. He doesn't really turn it over that much. He's great in the red zone. He's great in the short passes, intermediate. He has the long ball. He can come off of his first read, get into that second read. He can make the changes at the line of scrimmage. There's cut. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because that's my favorite player, but I think he's just looked pretty excellent this year. And not only him, but the Ravens' offense has looked tremendous, man. Derrick Henry running that ball like that, and then Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews at the tight end position, and even Zay Flowers the
and the
last couple
receivers are
games.
really kind of out these last couple games as well. Zay
Yep,
Flowers had two back-to-back 100-yard games, and then
yep.
we got a 100-yard game from Bateman this week.
hmm I'm
I
convinced.
think he had
They
70 last week.
Yeah, they look super good. Obviously, I think it's the same story every year within the AFC North. This comes down to this those Ravens with the Bengals trailing. Um, this is no different. I think it's gonna get bloody the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think we play each other twice. It's regular AFC North football. Um, so this week we had DeAndre Hopkins go to the Chiefs. Um, I mean the rich just get richer, right? I
Yeah.
think DeAndre. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is a top 10 receiver right now, but there's definitely still some juice left in the tank. There's definitely some gas left
You
in
know,
the
so
tank.
he'll tap right into it. He'll have 2, 3 games, and maybe one of them might be in the playoffs where he looked like a top 10 receiver. Like,
100%. He's the rich just get richer. I think that's a great addition for them, being what they're working with right now. So let's get to your favorite thing to talk about. Uh, Last night we had Game One, Dodgers and Yankees. Um, I mean, you can't. I don't think you can ask for a better Game One than we saw last night. Uh, I think this is simply it's a race between schemes and skills, and the Dodgers being a well-rounded team. The Yankees kind of going off of Soto, John Carlos, and Aaron Judge, and lacking in other departments, but kind of being saved by those two guys. We talked about it. The Dodgers are a little bit more well-rounded team. Um, what a game one that was. Yankees had a great chance to win. They get the error on the single. Could have made up for the double play right there. Uh, Comes down to it. You walk Mookie Betts, and then you pitch it to Freddie Freeman. Is that what do you think about that decision right there, man?
well, I mean, Walker Mookie Betts at that point right there, it didn't matter. It didn't. His run didn't mean anything. So instead of having a righty on lefty matchup with the lefty, what was it, Nestor Cortez? You go ahead and walk Mookie, get to the lefty Freddie Freeman. I think the bigger issue because because it was already 2 on. The runner on second base was the only one that really mattered, right? Because
Hmm.
that was the winning run. So the putting Mookie on first doesn't really have any significance until Freddie come up and slam you. So he gets all 4 of them. But um, I think the bigger decision was not to go to Hill out the bullpen. They went with Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched, I don't
Yeah.
think, since September. It's been a while since he's been out there on the ball, maybe August, late August. So I know the Dodgers went to Brusdar Gratterall, who hadn't pitched since late early September either. But he came in, shut it down, but it wasn't as high of a tension situation because he came in on a clean inning. But when you bring a guy in that hadn't pitched in forever with runners in scoring position in the top bottom of the 10th, and you're up against Murderers Row, you got Otani, Best, and Freeman. Like, I mean, that's a tough spot to be in for your first live action for a month and a half. And it cost him. It cost him.
I absolutely think.
But I'm sorry, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't
Go ahead.
even.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What are the two things? What are the two things I've been harping on, bro, since the playoffs started? And I know you
Defense
like
and
the
pitching.
formula the Yankees to put together, but the two things, bro, you gotta have in playoff baseball, bro. You gotta have pitching, gotta have defense. The Yankees, they got a great start from Garrett Cole. They wasted it because their bullpen couldn't close the door. The bullpen had very little answers for what the Dodgers wanted to do offensively. They didn't have anybody off balance. They didn't have anybody guessing. Everything was hard hit barrels, 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 and then when you're not clean defensively with the little things, fundamentals, with your cutoffs, with your defensive positioning, with just the fielding and picking up and the throwing of the baseball, when you're not cleaning those things, it costs you every time, and it's magnified on this scale because it's game one of the World Series.
Defense absolutely lost that game for the Yankees, as I mentioned before. Bottom of the ninth, ground out to second. double plays right there. I think that was Oswaldo Cabrera.
Yeah,
Just slipped through the glove,
and he
and that's good.
because Jason Dominguez pinch ran for Gleyber Torres, so they brought in Oswaldo, who's more of a utility guy, not a natural infielder. Diving play to the backhand side should have been made. At least one out should have been got there. End up getting none, and now you're in the extras, and then you're getting slammed.
I think personally, I think that was a terrible decision by Boone to even bring because Cousins wasn't pitching that bad to me. Where the point to the
Yeah,
point
but
where he should have been full.
he couldn't face Otani. He couldn't face Otani. Now
I
with that
mean,
slider that's coming, not that slider that's coming in and that honey right in that loop zone, like nah,
so
that's
what would
not
you
success for him right there.
so what would
I would
you
have went
rather
to
see
Hill.
from
I
him?
would have went to another lefty. I would have went to Hill. And even after Cortez came in the game, after he got Otani, I probably would have went to Hill still. Because I mean, Cortez only threw one pitch and Otani popped up, fouled out. So it's like you got lucky there. And I understand kind of what you thought was gonna happen with Freeman because we weren't thinking about bets. But I think you just got to go to the guy who has been on the mound in the playoffs at least.
So how much blame do you put on Boone for that loss?
It's about 50-50 on Boone for that move there, but the rest of the 50 goes to the guys. I mean, what we haven't talked about is Aaron Judge, man. He has not put together a good
Yeah.
postseason. He hit a home run. I think it was game 5 against the Guardians, maybe, but I think I just looked at his numbers. He's slugging 383 or something like that in the playoffs, man. That's what I mean. For those that aren't aware, your slugging percentage is based off of the percentage of your hits that go for doubles or larges, or double or triple or home run. All singles do not apply to your slugging percentage. So if you're in the playoffs hitting 220 or whatever he's hitting right now, and you're only slugging 380, you're only hitting at 28%, and the hit only 38% of those 28% of those hits are going for extra bases, and that's not what you're looking for from one of the greatest hitters in the game, one of the greatest hitters the game has ever seen, and one of the freakiest of specimens. You know, it feels like he's pressing, he's swinging a lot harder than he needs to when you're 6'6", 6'7", 260, 280, whatever he is. You don't have to swing hard, bro. You just put barrel on the ball. Velocity does the rest, and it's gonna go. But because he's pressing, he wants to hit the ball out the park, and it's definitely affecting his play. His and he's, but they got the Yankees can't win without Judge because I mean they got Stanton who's in fuego because it's the playoffs, and they got Soto who's great generational talent. But after that, Jazz he had a good game one, had some good at bats, but it's gonna get spooky, bro. Judge, it's gotta be you. And I think they might be in trouble tonight because Yamamoto might show up now. And I'm not feeling Rodon. I'm not feeling Carlos Rodon for the Yankees. I've been off him for a long time, bro. And I think he gonna get smacked tonight. I think Dodgers win big tonight. I ain't gonna lie.
So you have the Dodgers winning big. What is your final series predictions?
After the way that game one, I don't know, because that game was supposed to be won by the Yankees. All aspects. They had 10 hits. They left 11 runners on base, bro. You can't do that. That's terrible for morale. And then your ace goes out there and throws a gem, gives up two. Well, he gives up one, excuse me, and you pull him in the. And that was another thing. I think they pulled Garrett Cole too early, man. I think you got to get
Mm.
Garrett Cole. Got to get the ball to your closer. You got to get it to your closer, especially when he's rolling. He's only giving up one. They're not really squaring him up that great. Nothing's dropping in, and you pull him, and you go to that pin that's already thin. Then you get a clean inning from your setup guy, your closer, and then once you get past that, now you get clean frames from those three, and then you go try to extend your closer gets 5 outs. Like when your closer's getting 5 outs and you still lose, it's bad morale. That's bad for team morale. So all of these things stacked up on top of each other. I say all that to say I think the Dodgers sleep. I don't think the Yankees get in the game.
Dodgers sweep. Okay, so you have the Dodgers sweeping, but what could I know you have the Dodgers sweeping, but what could the Yankees do to maybe steal this series? Like, what would have to happen?
To steal this series, John Carlos Stanton's probably gonna have to hit 5 home runs.
Whew,
He's got one
five,
already, so
five is
he's gonna have to
crazy.
hit 5 home runs. Soto's probably gonna have to have about 3, and Judge is gonna have to. Judge got to turn it on, bro. Judge is gonna have to. If they're gonna win this, if they're gonna win, it's probably gonna have to go to 7. I mean, Judge is probably gonna have to pick up. He
So you
had one hit yesterday, so he's gonna have to pick up about 6, 7 more hits.
you think the Yankees are completely outmatched here?
About to draw match, bro. Draw
Okay.
match. I just don't. I don't think they have the bullpen. I don't think that. I mean, when when you get a gem from Cole already and it gives you nothing, that's really bad for your mo. That's really bad, bro. Really, really bad.
And so say the Dodgers do win. You personally, where where would Otani season rank for you, just amongst people that you've seen? Because I mean,
It's
50-50
got
club.
gotta be. It's got to be a top. It's got to be a top 5 individual season.
Okay, that's
Because I
huge
mean,
though. That's huge.
huge, bro. Because I mean, you got to think. Um, I'm trying to think. What was some of just the greatest individual stuff out there?
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, well, so of course, Barry, I believe it was the 73 home runs, of course. Um, trying to think, man. I mean, Judge just had a 62 home run season, so that's got to be up there. Um, I'm thinking probably one of them Randy Johnson's Cy Young years, insane, winning 25 games. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, like it's up there with those though, like some all timers.
Top 5 seasons that you've seen if he wins it all.
If he wins it all, yeah,
I mean, you know how old the sport is,
it's
so
got to be up.
that's saying.
Gotta be up there. I forgot you got to put Mookie Betts 2018 up there too, bro.
Okay.
Putting Mookie Betts 2018 was unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, there's baseball has had so many great players. Like, I mean, and from different positions as well, from the outfield to the pitching to the infield to the catchers. Alex Rodriguez and excuse me, Derek. Obviously, Derek Jeter, Big Poppy, Pujols. All these big hitters, and then pitchers Kershaw, um, Tim Lincecum, guys like that.
That was a run. He won
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame, bro.
He no, when he was the guy, he was absolutely the guy though. Like he was not to
But
be
it
fucked
was
with.
only really like 3, 4 seasons, bro, where he was unstoppable. Like he was nothing nobody could do, bro. Nobody could
No,
do
that's
nothing.
what I'm saying. He was not to be fucked with at all. Like he was one of the best ever that we've seen when he was dealing. Guys like that though, but obviously Otani's season, man, 50-50 and to finish it off with a World Series would be tremendous. And even for Aaron Judge to have the season he had this year, we've also seen one of the best seasons we ever seen from him. For him to finish it off this year, I think there's so many agendas to push here. Hate to say it like that, but like a lot of agendas will be pushed. Obviously, Otani season, right? Mookie Betts' career, Freddie Freeman. Um, there's a lot at stake there. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto gets a
Playoff woes.
huge huh?
So Aaron Judge and his playoff woes continue, bro. That's gonna be the biggest
Exactly.
storyline if the Dodgers win.
Um, John Carlos is, he's getting up there, but Juan Soto, he's the next thing up, and he gets $600 million after this is over. They win the World Series, whatever he gets, a tremendous amount of money. We do have Game 2 coming up tonight. Me personally, I don't feel the Yankees get swept. I understand why you say they do lose, just because the defensive errors and the struggling pitching, and this is not a team because even outside of Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani, they have Teoscar, and then they have Kiki as well. So they still have a couple guys that can get you some
Kike.
hits.
What do you say?
Um,
Free Kike.
they still definitely have a couple guys that can get you some hits. But there's nothing like baseball in October, walk off grand slam. I think that's a
Come on, Game 1 World Series.
there's
Yankees,
no there,
Dodgers,
yeah
superstars everywhere, walk-off grand slamming.
there's moments in these championships, and that was obviously I'm a little bit of recency bias here, but that was an all-time moment for me. Grand slam walk off game one, bottom of the 10th. You can't write it better than that, actually. So we'll watch game two. We'll reconvene. All right, this real quick. Just can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, way too early NBA predictions. Just want to just pretty much agree or disagree. Way too early. We're only 2 games into the season, so this is really absurd. Some really absurd thoughts I just had. Okay, I think Dallas gets the first seed. Um, I've seen enough from Clay, Kyrie, Luca. Agree or disagree?
First seed in the West.
First seed in the West, yes.
Disagree. Continue.
I think Chet Holmgren is an All Star this year.
Agree.
I think the Nuggets are going to be in the play-in.
Agree.
JJ Redick wins Coach of the Year.
Disagree. Lakers are not going to be good.
Wow. Okay.
They'll
think
be
that,
9 or 10 in the play-in.
are you? That's crazy, brother.
They've been in the play-in the last 2 years.
Yeah, with Darvin Ham. Go hard on them,
Okay.
dude. Salute.
Is JJ ready to knock down the corner three?
Did you hear Darvin Ham's huddles, bro? I see y'all working
Okay.
out there.
What
Go hard on
team
them,
has
dudes.
what team has LeBron James never? What team has LeBron James not been the coach of? He was on.
This is
All right. Anyway,
the
let's
the
continue.
Miami the
Let's
Miami
continue.
Heat.
Let's continue.
The Miami
Let's
Heat,
continue,
bro.
bro.
Eric's don't disrespect.
Okay,
Eric
that was 12 years ago, bro.
You asked me a question, I answered it.
His son is now on his team. You talking to me about things when Buddy was in middle school. Bronny was in middle school last time LeBron got coached.
Let me ask you this: Do you see a difference in the Lakers play from these first 2 games?
I mean, slightly, but I'm not no firm believer in this roster, bro.
I don't even think it's about the roster. Just they're getting easy buckets.
Okay.
They're utilizing their players how they should be utilized. Like I'm tired of seeing LeBron getting 5 ball screens a possession. That shit wasn't happening like that these first 2 games. Okay, moving on. Jason Tatum wins MVP.
Absolutely going scorched earth.
Okay. Alperen Sengun is an All-Star.
I like it. I like him. I like that call.
LaMelo Ball, All NBA this year.
Maybe 13. But I don't know if his ankle's gonna be able to hold it up. I hope so. Give me something to do.
Minnesota finishes top 4
In the league, in the record.
in the West.
Oh yeah, I got them as my one.
Ooh, okay. Jordan Poole makes the All-Star team.
Not gonna happen.
Did you see him against Boston?
Not gonna happen.
Okay. Anthony Davis wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Next question, bro.
Nah, bro. What is that? What is that, bro?
Next question, bro.
You don't agree?
Don't agree, bro.
That's crazy. Wait, so can I get your defense player of your prediction?
Wemby.
That's fair. Paulo Banchero makes All NBA.
I like that.
Dame Lillard makes All NBA.
How many spots are there, nigga? Damn.
Bro, I think a lot of people that not gonna make it this year.
I was about to say, if you still got Steph, Bron, KD, them three spots right there. Giannis, that's four. Jokic, that's five.
Yeah, yeah,
You just gave away four spots too. It's only 15 spots. You just gave away four. That's 9 spots already. Only 6 left.
yeah. Yeah,
You ain't even say
well,
you said Tatum MVP. You said Tatum MVP, so that's 10 spots right there.
Joel Embiid's not gonna make it.
Okay, so now it's 5 spots left. You okay? It's only 5 spots left. We named 10 people already. JB, that's 11. We got 4 spots left.
Who does that? I only said Lamelo and Banchero and Dame Lillard.
And JT to win MVP, so that's another one.
Yeah,
And then we got
that was
5
already.
automatics.
Yeah, that was already written. A
We
lot of
got
these
5
guys,
automatics.
a lot of these guys I'm talking about are third team guys though.
Yeah, what I'm saying though, it's still only 5 slots left. You got 10 names already in.
Yeah, I think a couple people don't make it this year.
That don't include Shay. That don't include uh Ant. That don't include Ja. That don't include Brunson. That don't include
Brunson don't make
uh
it this year.
Brunson. Don't make it this year.
Mm-mm.
That
Ja,
don't include. Hold on. That don't include AD. That don't include. I already said Giannis. That don't include. I think that's how. Oh, Luca. That don't include Kyrie.
Kyrie don't
That
make
don't
it.
include. All right, but I can still name.
I don't. I don't. I think so. I think Shea, Luca, Tatum, Joker, automatic Giannis, automatic five right there, right?
Bron, Steph.
Between Braun, Steph, and KD, I think only two of them make it. I don't know which one doesn't. I think only two of them make it.
Okay. So I'll take a finger now.
That's seven
7.
right there. Um, who did I say?
Then
I
the
said
guys you
Bank
just named:
Yeah,
Banchero, Dame, Lamelo.
Lamelo. Yeah.
That's 10.
So who I think Jalen Brown makes it
11.
11,
Tatum, 12.
Tatum 12, Shea 13. Did I say Shea already?
13. Nope.
I
Ant,
said
14.
who am I missing?
We full already. 14 players right there.
I might be okay with that, bro.
Luca, you ain't say Luca.
I said Luca. I said Luca. He was one of the first ones I
He's in
said.
that first batch. That first batch. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with that, bro. To be honest, everybody don't, and maybe Ja. That's it.
Wemby.
Don't look good the first two. There's a chance, but I think he's an All Star, All NBA. I think he finishes the 15 best. Not like
I
what I'm
got him
seeing.
defense player of the year. So he got to be
Okay,
all NBA.
and I agree with that. I'm not even mad at that. All right. So let me get back to it. I think the Warriors missed the playoffs this year.
Interesting. I don't know. I think they're playing team too.
I think Cade Cunningham is an All Star this year.
They're gonna be so terrible, bro. They had 6 guys on the court. You
He
don't
has,
get no All
he's
Stars with
gonna
6 guys.
he's gonna average 25 a night though.
When you got 6 guys on the court, you don't get an All-Star.
Yes, you do. Yeah, he's going to average 25, 26 a night,
No,
bro.
you don't. You don't get an All-Star when you got 6 guys on the court, bro.
That's not his fault, bro. I
It
think
is. You're be a leader, bro. Learn to
I think
count.
I think the Miami Heat missed the playoffs.
I do too.
Uh, I think the Knicks got worse in the trade.
I do too.
I really like Minnesota. What they did, they look good. I think the Clippers missed the playoffs as well.
I do as well. Don't know
Um,
what Kawhi is gonna ever play again, and James Harden. Any
and so
next
yeah,
questions?
let me ask you that. Should Kawhi retire? I
Absolutely.
think that's pretty
Just like Stephen A.
straightforward.
said, bro. It's just the truth, bro. He's the worst superstar ever. And I
Um,
really love bro. Game, but he's the worst superstar ever.
hey, we got a whole part about that one. Um, Welcome back, Ja Morant, man. Good to see Ja Morant back. He he probably re-enters that top five point guard conversation. Uh, it's tough. It's tough. Man, you ready to put him back at top five?
I mean, yeah, talent wise, he's there. We just got to see. Hopefully, he don't have no Deshaun Watson level collapse. You know,
Yeah.
just not the same without.
I'm really and then I think CP3 has a tremendous rejuvenation of his career playing with the Spurs. We get a CP3 averaging 8.5 assists a game. Um, so I think that's a perfect fit for him. I think, and a huge shocker, maybe a huge shocker to some people, Bradley Beal. I think he averages about 22 a game. And then last year he was
Yeah,
horrific. But I think he's just going to be more comfortable this year. Um, he looked good in the 2 games that they played. And then you want to know who looks amazing? Buddy Hield, 25 points a game in 2 games with the Warriors. He's probably. It looks like he's going to be their second leading scorer, averaging 20 plus a game. The Warriors front office just kind of reminds me of the Chiefs front office. You know, they lose one, they gain another. They just get better. Buddy Hield looks better than Klay Thompson does right now. And he's, same type of player, same caliber, same type of player, same type of style of play. Um, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about was Joel Embiid and Paul George. You're sitting out the first game of the season, then you're turning around saying, "I'm not going to play back to backs." Uh, I don't know. Maybe this is
he's bad
crazy
for
to
the
say.
brand, bro. He's bad for the brand.
I think those two are just as bad as superstars as Kawhi Leonard, bro. Maybe not to that extent,
Nah,
but like they're a tier below. They're
Kawhi,
the
first of all,
cry,
Kawhi the champion. Let's not do that. They can't be in that realm. They can't be in that realm. Kawhi's
but
the champion.
still, it's just the way they approach the game. I don't like the way those guys approach the game. You get paid
They say,
55,
I just
60.
don't like the cut of that man here.
Bro, I don't like the approach. You get paid 60 million a year, then before the season starts, you're saying I'm not playing back to backs. The fuck is that about? And then Paul George, bro, like we can't keep defending you, dog. Like, I'm tired of it. I really don't want to hear
That's
nothing
your
else.
guy.
That's not my
That's
guy,
your
actually.
guy.
That's never been my guy. Fuck no. I can't. I'm
That's
not
your
I've
guy.
never understood the hype behind Paul George. Um but man, so we got what is that? We have hell of a weekend coming up. Dodgers game 2, another week of the NBA, college football, NFL. I think we covered about everything. That was a lot to go over, but that was game 2. We'll be back. We didn't even get to the hockey stuff yet. I'm gonna let that marinate a little bit before we even dive back into that. But I'm looking forward to game 2 with the Dodgers. I do think I know you disagree. I don't know if tonight's the night, but I do think the Yankees, get them one. I don't think they just beat their ass like they just some sorry ass niggas or something. But because that's just so crazy to me, bro. You have Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and John Carlos, and you can't sneak one. That's just crazy, bro. Like,
You said that don't even make no sense to you, huh?
imagine, yeah, man. Like, imagine the Warriors just getting swept, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but in this case, the Warriors might be the Dodgers too, also. Um, like, that's crazy stuff to me. But we will see. Um, and we will reconvene next week and see what this series is looking like. That's it, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all next week.
You do.